Sir Alex, a four-time winner of the League Cup. Will Ten Hag get his hands on it for the first time today? Melissa, great interview there. You know him well. You've interviewed him on a number of occasions now. What's he like being around Erik Ten Hag?
He's very direct. He's very sure of what he wants, what he doesn't want. And I think the word I always use to describe him is authority. He walks into a place and you know he's in charge. He's in control. And when I was on pre-season with Manchester United, one of the staffers told me, and it's a line that stuck with me because every week you just get a new example of it. He said, "There is no doubt this is Erik Ten Hag's club." And the decisions, you can see it in the way the team play, but how they also conduct themselves now off the pitch. But the other thing I find really fascinating about him is he's not just embraced Manchester United, the club. He is obviously very keen on restoring them, and he knows about the great traditions, obviously sitting down with Sir Alex Ferguson and picking his brains. But he has really embraced the area as well. I see him around a lot in the city centre having meals. He's always out cycling in Hale. He was meeting Sir Alex Ferguson in Wilmslow. And I said to him, you know, what is it about that? Why do you keep doing that? And he said, well, to understand the club, you have to understand the area, you have to understand the people, you have to understand the culture, you have to feel what they feel to know what the right thing is to do. And I find that really lovely.
Yeah, he's really bought into them, hasn't he? And what's impressed you most about the impact he's had at the club, would you say, Darren?
I think he's underlined the fact that there are no impossible jobs in football. Because for a long time since Sir Alex Ferguson, lots of people thought, well, is there anybody going to come along and take over? Some big names have stepped into those shoes. There are big shoes to fill. Absolutely, there are big shoes to fill, but there are no impossible. We used to think it was England. The England job was the impossible job, and then suddenly along came a guy who made it look very simple. And all he needs to do is win a trophy, and suddenly, you know, you're off and running. As far as he's concerned, I remember the start of this season. On this show, we were talking about we're going through some of the Sunday papers. And one or two said maybe he's going to be Erik 10 months, because after that Brentford defeat, which had been preceded by the Brighton defeat, that we were pouring through the big debate. You might have even been on the show, I don't know, and we were wondering, well, where does he go from here? But it was his handling of that, running with the players, the what was it, 8 miles or 8 kilometres they hadn't covered in that match. And then it was his decisiveness after that, dealing with the Harry Maguire situation, dealing, as you said, with the Ronaldo situation. There is a clarity about his message, a simplicity about his tactics. There is a boldness about his substitutions. I know you're going to talk about that, Henry. There are so many different facets to Erik Ten Hag in what is a tough job. He's made it look easy in less than a year. And I think, in particular, I've spoken outside to friends about this, individual players that he's improved. Jadon Sancho, Rashford, of course, but Luke Shaw, you know, he took him off at half-time. Was it in the Brentford game? You didn't see him for a couple of months after that. He's played every Premier League game since he's been back in the side. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, players that you thought maybe were cast-offs, who had not got long for Manchester United. They're back in the fold. He is a real triumph for a strong personality, good man management, not listening to the noise from outside. All of the hype that surrounded him before he arrived, he has justified it and more.
Yeah, and one thing we've certainly learned is that if it's not working, he's not afraid to change it, and pretty quickly as well, Henry, because I think the words, let's wait 15 minutes, just aren't in his vocabulary, are they?
No, I mean, a lot of managers will wait into the second half, but he makes his substitutions and he makes them early. He's bold. I think he's made 16 substitutions at half-time so far this season, and of his substitutes, 19 of them have scored goals. I know that's a Manchester United tradition, but absolutely. I mean, the decisiveness, the disciplinary side to him, the way that he basically disciplined Marcus Rashford when he was late a couple of times. You know, he is just so strong with these people. But the substitution's absolutely key, and it's not simply a like for like. He will make changes. He will move. He played Sancho as a 10 for a couple of games as well, which was quite interesting. Just sort of seeing, I prefer him out wide. I think a lot of Manchester United fans will. Obviously, he uses Weghorst. He's dropped him in as he's played him as a 9, as a number 10 in the last 2 games. And then when you've got a player of Rashford's quality who you can move from the left, into the forward positions. He's got so many attacking options. But I think the Wan-Bissaka revelation has been huge, as you were mentioning. And Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw is actually not so much of an attacking left-back that we've seen before, but defensively he's so secure, and he's also played left centre-half then. So his influence has been collectively, individually, and as Melissa was saying, culturally as well. It's almost like you can never compare him with Ferguson, but there's a touch of the old Ferguson steel and focus and going about business and discipline about Manchester United under Ten Hag.
Would love to have been a fly on the wall for that meal they had at the start of the week. Melissa, I mean, we can all see the transformative effect he's having on the club. So how significant do you think winning one, maybe more trophies in his first season would be?
I think it underlines the progress they've made, and it just sets everything else in motion. The players then, they already believe in the process, so do the fans. You can tell the difference at Old Trafford now.
So you said that Arsenal were ahead of schedule earlier on in the show. Manchester United, would you say the same thing about them as well?
Let's think about the club Ten Hag walked into, what he inherited from last season, which was absolutely miserable, not just in terms of results, but the feeling around the place, the mood. No one felt it was fun to be a Manchester United player or a fan.
Was it fun to be a journalist? No, because you were there. You were around it all. You witnessed it all.
It's hard sometimes because you want to find positives. I'm an optimist. I like reporting on good storylines. I like reporting on structures and processes at work. Last season, it was not there. And when I went away to Bangkok and Australia with United and I watched that man work and I saw his detail, he knows the measurements to every cone. He knows what each player's media duties are. He knows when the last time United won in a specific away kit they're wearing, whether it's good luck, bad luck. I'm telling you, his attention to detail is remarkable. It's extraordinary. I worried about him coming into United because I thought this club structurally has been a mess. The mood is not right. The dressing room is an issue. Lots of big egos. There's a Ronaldo conundrum. Recruitment-wise, there's a lot of work to do. He's managed at Ajax that had such a good organizational structure supporting him. How is he going to handle all of this? And you spoke about Brighton and Brentford, and it was scary times, but he's just puffed his chest out, dealt with everything extraordinarily, and he has everybody believing.